Okay, well, I got the piston installed on here. I got the crank and rod bearing, the main big end, and the upper wrist pin bearings lubricated with a little bit of two-stroke oil. Got the piston on, of course, ring on. Cylinder base here is all been cleaned with parts brake cleaner. Cylinder base, like I say, going together without a gasket. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of this Moto Seal two-stroke sealer here. Gonna go ahead and place a little bit on the base of the cylinder, and a thin coating on the crankcase. This stuff sets up pretty quick, so you got to move. You don't have to worry about waiting for it to tack up. It starts setting itself pretty fast. So just want to get a nice even smear all the way around. Not too thick, just ever so slight. Just a nice light coating all the way around. That's it, that's all. And I've yet to have one leak. Not saying that I couldn't at some point in the future, but as of now, I've done several saws with this, doing base gasket deletes from Husqvarna and Still and John Sureds, and never had any issues with this blowing out or getting a air leak on it. So I've been using it for the last quite a few years. On these, you got to be careful here on these 262s, 254s. Well, this whole family of saws here, they've got their impulse for the carb here, comes up through the base of the crankcase there and around the base of the cylinder here. So they've got a fine little intake port, or they've got a fine little impulse port right there. You got to make sure that you don't get any sealer in it, and plug it up. Now I got the cylinder coated. I'm going to go ahead and coat a little bit over here around the crankcase base. What I've done to the piston here, some would say you're wrong, you shouldn't do that. Shouldn't have opened the lower transfers. I didn't really open them, I didn't hog them out. As far as the lower transfers, like I say, all I did was make a slight transition ramp from cut the sharp edge, and they actually had some pretty jagged edge there right from the factory. So we're gonna go ahead and set the cylinder down here right away. These were single ring pistons, of course, as obviously you can see. In focus, yeah. Now this is a little bit of a greasy job here, as in now I'm playing with which one, you gotta make sure you don't get your sealer tangled up in your whatchamacallit here, to the oily piston. We might have to do this off camera. Sometimes this turns into a little bit of a battle. No, I still don't have myself a compression ring compressor. I should. This is going to be a pain in the ass. For some reason I never can seem to do this on camera. Well, this never works out on camera. I always end up doing this off camera because it ends up being a struggle. And that's exactly what it's going to be, whatchamacallit. The minute I shut the camera off, everything drops in. No problem. I've already dragged my thumb, I see, through my sealer here, so I'm going to have to go ahead and just give this a quick little touch up here around the base here. Always, like I say, it always seems to be something that wrench in the works, so to speak. Oh well, eh? Like I say, I'm probably going to have to pause the camera and bring you folks back here once I I need to get this set on here without sticking my finger in it and fighting with the coil wire and, well, you name it, you know how this all goes. There we go. And I stuck my finger in my sealer again. So we're just going to set that there for a second. Go ahead and just give this just a tiny little touch there again, just to make sure we don't lose our, there we go. So all little things that you have to have attention to detail for when you're doing this, so that you don't, there. Get this set down. Just gonna not completely stick it down, just want to get it 90% of the way down. Go ahead and install my intake track. I should have probably put my carburetor and everything together on the cylinder and just dropped it in as a unit. Generally speaking, that is the better option. Sometimes for some of these saws it just works better. It's just easier to put the whole thing on as assembly. Sometimes not, but just wanted to give you an idea here of anyways what I'm doing here. Well, here we go. It's coming together pretty quick. These old 200 series saws were pretty simple and easy to work on, so don't take long to make progress, and well, just get along with it here pretty quick. So like I say, got the cylinder back on, cleaned up the muffler, didn't hog out the exhaust port. They've already got literally a 3/4 inch outlet hole in the side, and it's an empty hollow can. All I did was expand this deflector on here, kind of rounded it or opened it up, and bent back another baffle flap they have here. They kind of got it closed up like a weird closed off finger port, so I took and folded that one tab right back flat against the muffler, and opened up this other one here and radiused it or rounded it out, so it's got a nice big well, kind of like a great big mouse ear. So it's a good welded deflector on the side of the muffler. Not going to go ahead and modify it anymore. It should have more than enough flow. They're actually pretty loud as it is already, so got all my carburation hooked back up, as you can see. Linkages are working, everything is hooked up, choke, and you know, everything is back to normal. Unlike some of the other 200 series saws, these didn't have the manual activated high-speed idle here. These actually had the integrated the 254, 257, 261, 262s. They all had the integrated choke fast idle. When you pull the choke and set it, the saw is on fast idle, and then you just click and they click back off. They had them set up very similar to the Johnson Red with the 630s and 670s. When you pulled the choke out and pushed it in, the high idle was automatically set. These weren't like the 266s and saws like that in the in that class. Like I say, they had the automatic high idle choke set on them, so kind of a nice feature, and that's why I like these 254s and 262 chassis saws. There are 200 series saws, but like I say, the crankcases were completely different on these than from like the, you know, the earlier 162, 266, all through those series. These were kind of their own unique saws, and they had some nice little features to them, so they're very much close or similar to the more modern saws that we know now. So that's why I like these. Like I say, went ahead and cleaned up some rust and corrosion on the muffler, and got that all squared away. Got rid of those spacer washers that they had on the front, because like I say, the Chinese cylinder didn't have the outlet port on the exhaust. It was a little bit shorter, so they tried to make up for a difference. With an OEM cylinder, OEM bolts, everything fits right up, the torque's down nice like it's supposed to, so very happy about that. Of course, there's always some mismatch and fasters with old saws. The chain tensioner here, they have that just set up with a common screw. It's a metric screw, of course, for the for the adjuster pin, but I do have a spare adjuster pin and a screw from a wrecked chassis from one of these, so I'll go dig that up out of my parts bin and I'll put the correct one in here, so that's ready to go. The next time you see this saw, I'll probably have everything finally finished and buttoned up on it, and we'll do a first fire on it. Now that I got everything basically bolted, the main components bolted back in, the mechanical stuff, just going to go ahead and start, like I say, fixing all the little things, like I say, like the chain tensioner screw. Got to put a proper boot here on the spark plug gripper coil here to make sure that that's insulated, but I guess we're going to call this a video. Anyways, just like to say thanks everybody for stopping by and checking out another one of my videos. Haven't asked in a while, but don't forget to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe if you're still here at this point. And, well, we'll see you folks all on the next one.